Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? One of the cool things about YouTube is you can discover all kinds of people. Like, it's a community. You find somebody you like, and then you see what they like, and you check out that stuff, and that's really kind of cool. So that's what happened to me the other day, and I checked out a video made about 4 months ago or so by a poster named DM Nighthag, and the video was how to make a character, not a character sheet, and it was really cool. I enjoyed the video quite a bit, and in the video essentially she talks about the idea that throw away the player's handbook for whatever kind of game you're playing, throw away the character sheet, and talk to your DM for a second, find out what the campaign is like, what's going on, whether it's a one shot or just a campaign, and then kind of figure out like what kind of person do you want to play, what do they like. And I thought that was really kind of a cool concept. And afterwards, you can kind of do all the stats or whatever. Um, so I really liked that, and it really kind of drove home for me, the kind of generalization that JDR30 had made about the fact that, on average, female gamers are a little bit more into, the character and the story, and not so much into the stats on the paper. So I guess, as I get older, I'm embracing my feminine side a little bit, because that's kind of me now as well. I like stats, but not as much as I used to. I want to, want to have fun playing a character. But as I thought about that, the thing that came to mind for me is, um, being a fan of some older versions of D&D and all that OSR stuff. Those games are a little bit more lethal, and I'm not sure what DM Nighthag plays. It doesn't really matter, but that kind of mindset was a little bit more for somebody that's expecting their character to survive. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just wondered, for my own sake, how to balance that idea of like, the most important thing is before you roll dice or whatever, who do you want to be? Like, what kind of person? Not necessarily class, but what is this person like? Because I think you can come up with a persona and some motivations or whatever, and it really doesn't matter what kind of class you play. If you want to be a jerk and out for yourself, you can be any class. If you want to be an altruist, you can do the same thing, etc. Um, whatever kind of personality quirks or motivations you want to put in there. Um, but in the games that I tend to like to play, a lot of times, it's going to take two or three characters before you get one that sticks. I was thinking about the game I played in, the longer campaign I played in a few years ago, where most of us were on our second or third character, and my personas and my guys were different, but someone, I think one guy lasted one session, and that's what happened. But so I don't really have an easy answer for that, other than like, I don't get too emotionally invested in a character or, really flesh them out that much until they've survived a little bit. And then I think her take on it was a little bit more that you should really get into depth about what this person's like, and then finally, roll numbers. For me, that's not going to work entirely. I like a thumbnail sketch of what this guy is like. This guy has these quirks or whatever, and then we'll see if he lives or not. In terms of survivability now, I've talked recently about the fact that like not gonna have a lot of time, so I don't want to be wasting people's characters all the time. That's not fun. Um, so the question always is, well, how do you make it a little bit more survivable? And I looked back at some of my old ideas. Actually, another person mentioned that either on a forum or a comment on one of my videos about the things I'd done with like dying and death and zero hit points, negative hit points. Now I'm still a big fan of the idea that like if you get knocked down to like zero or negative hit points, you make a Constitution save. So if you get knocked down to zero hit points by the final blow, then you have to roll your Constitution or less than a D20 or you're dead. And if you get knocked down to negative hit points, for every negative, then you have to add one to that D20 roll. So if you get knocked down to say negative 3 hit points, and you have a Constitution of 15, you have to roll 15 or lower on a D20, but you have to add 3 to your roll because you're at negative 3 hit points. And if you get knocked down to negative 10 or whatever you decide the cutoff point is, then you're just dead for real. That makes characters a little bit more survivable. I don't like the negative con idea from Pathfinder and D20 because that really I have some reasons why I don't like that. But I really enjoy DM Nighthag's take on that, and the idea that like let's stop, or if you will, stop the min-maxing and not get so excited about the creating a character that's going to be optimized, and more like, well, what is my guy like? Because I can play this guy, I can role play this guy. It really doesn't matter what the numbers on the paper are. It matters a little bit, but it doesn't matter as much as you think it does. I found intelligently played characters, survive a lot longer than a really cool character on paper that is played by somebody just isn't very good. And not only that, the characters, if you're just playing these stats, a lot of times the character is kind of flat and uninteresting, not only for you, but for the other people at the table. So I like when the characters have a little bit of a flavor, they have a little bit of quirk, and you have a bit of a not emotional investment, but just kind of a fun investment in them. And this is what this guy's like, and so I'm going to kind of ham it up a little bit. I like that a lot better than the numbers game.